Solid-state drives, or flash drives, really shook up the industry just a few years ago because they replaced the one most common pieces of functionality in the PC, and that was that mechanical storage device that we know as the hard disk. Solid State replaced that with a non-mechanical storage device. Instead of using physical platters that spin around and we write data to, it uses integrated circuits to store the data. It doesn't use magnetics or any kind of mechanical functionality that we're used to seeing with hard drives. Now, there's a lot of advantages to this. First of all, it's less susceptible to physical shock. You don't have those platters in there with that high tolerance. You don't have the little actuator arms reading it. If I bounce it too hard, the little actuator arms can actually dent or scratch the surface of the disk and it won't read data and that sort of thing. You don't have that problem with solid state or flash drives. They're also absolutely silent. You don't hear the click and the hum and the buzzing and spinning and all that stuff that you hear with mechanical hard drives, and so that's a really cool thing in certain characteristics. And also, one I didn't mention here is the gyroscopic effect. If you've ever been working on a PC, and you're not supposed to have one plugged in, but if you've ever worked with these external hard disk and you got one plugged up in USB and it's spinning and you pick that thing up, you can feel the gyroscopic effect of that disk actually spinning, okay? And it's kind of interesting. Imagine if our phones and our mobile devices had these heavy disks spinning inside them. They would act like little gyroscopes. It'd be kind of funky to try to maneuver these things and deal with them. So anyway, that's just another thing. And then they also have lower access times than mechanical storage devices because actually we're looking for data more or less at the speed of light rather than spinning a mechanical disk looking for it by location. So there's a lot of things to like about these. The only problem is the main disadvantage is probably the one that hits us the hardest, and that is cost. And these things were very expensive when they first came out, but of course they're dropping like everything else is, and they're dropping faster and faster. Now, there are 6 types of solid state drives you should be familiar with, and you got to watch the terminologies here. Don't let them confuse you. A solid state drive is the first one. Compact flash, these little cards, are another type of solid state drive technology. The SD cards, the micro SD, the mini SD, and then the XD card. And so those 6 types you need to be familiar with. You just need to be able to recognize them by sight, know a little bit about capacities and that sort of thing. All right. Now let's talk about SSD. A solid state drive replaces the hard disk, but be very, very careful with your terms here. Okay. SD means secure digital card. We'll talk about those in a separate video. All right. SSD means solid state drive. SSD is the technology to store data without using a mechanical disk. An SD, or secure digital card, is an implementation of SSD. And then at the same time, SSD really refers to this, which replaces a hard disk. And notice you have these little, more like memory chips on this little board, and so all your data is stored here, but nothing has to spin or move or hum or anything like that to be able to access your data that's stored out here in digital format. So that's what solid state drives are. Again, they just store this data in integrated circuits. Nothing's spinning and nothing's mechanical, and just watch your terminology, don't let them confuse you. But that's the basics on solid state drives, and in a separate video we'll talk about the secure digital cards.